Hi, everybody, and welcome to English for You. I'm Pat.
And I'm Mike.
And we're looking at this month's TOEIC article, which is kind of English for daily life. We'll be looking at conversations we would really have and maybe some documents that we would really have to read if we were out there using English. And this one is all about taking a product in for repair and dealing with that. So, Mike, are you the kind of person who would fix something yourself or get someone else to repair it?
I think it would depend on what it was. I mean, some things I would feel more... It would be about my confidence level. You know, how much do I know about it? And also, how expensive would it be if I made it worse? You know, so recently, for example, I was using one of my old guitars and I had some problems with it. So I took it apart and cleaned it out and, you know, did some stuff and got it working again. But it's not something with a lot of different parts. I'd kind of done something or seen people do that before. And, you know, if I made it worse, I can take it in somewhere and it would probably be quite cheap to repair. Now, if it was something that I knew very little about, like a computer, then I probably wouldn't want to mess around with it too much because what if I make it worse? I don't really know what I'm doing anyways. So, you know, it depends. How about you?
Yeah, anything electronic, computers, phones, air conditioning units, I think. Leave that to the professionals. But, you know, if my son's, one of his toys needs a bit of a fix, I can maybe figure out what's going on with that.
Yep.
You know, have a bit of a sort out, something.
If it's anything with wood, like a piece of furniture, like the drawer of a desk, you know, gets stuck or, you know, no problem.
Confident about having a go, maybe
hit it with a hammer.
What's wrong with this chair, something like that.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah, no problem.
Okay, but what we've got to fix today is a phone. So let's read through day one, which is a conversation between somebody who has a phone with a problem and someone who works in a phone store.
Reading.
Taking a product in for repair.
Hello, sir. Welcome to Royal Phones. How may I help you today?
Hi. Well, I tried to turn my phone on this morning, but nothing happened. The screen stayed black.
Are you sure you charged it?
Yes, I've checked that already. I know the charger works because my wife can charge her phone with it.
Okay, so it's not the charger. May I have a look at your phone?
Liz inspects Phil's phone, but can't get it to turn on.
It looks like the phone will need to be repaired. When did you purchase it?
I have my receipt here. Just a second.
Phil checks his receipt for the purchase date.
It seems I bought it on January 14th, 2021.
Because it's still under our 1-year warranty, we'll be able to repair it for you.
Can it be fixed right now?
I'm afraid not. We'll arrange to send your phone to our service center. It'll likely take around 3 to 5 days.
Okay, that's fine.
So we start off and we're in the phone store and Liz is a worker there and she says, "Hello, sir. Welcome to Royal Phones. How may I help you today?" So pretty kind of standard greeting for somebody who's come in and wants some service in a shop.
That's right. Well, most people might be in there to buy a new phone or to pay a bill or something, but Phil, well, he's got a bit of a problem. He says,
"Hi.
Well, I tried to turn my phone on this morning, but nothing happened." Okay, that is definitely a problem. His phone doesn't work. He got up, he woke up as he does, went to check his email or whatever in the morning, and nothing happened. The phone didn't turn on. It just sort of sat there, as he says next.
Yep, the screen stayed black. So
that's it.
Yeah, so we don't know now if this is a battery problem, a screen problem or whatever, but certainly the screen stayed black. The screen is the viewing surface of something electronic. So your computer has a screen, your cell phone has a screen, your TV has a screen. The big flat surface that you would watch in a movie theater with a picture on it, that is a big screen. In fact, it's often known as the big screen or sometimes the silver screen. Those are kind of fancy terms for movies, basically. The silver screen is the movie industry. But yeah, if your phone's got a screen, we can also say monitor, I guess, for a computer, for the face of that. Yeah, it's the bit that you look at, and these days the bit you interact with. For example, we could say, please stop using my smartphone while you're eating fried chicken. You're making the screen dirty. Oh, there's oil, there's spice on it, there's fingerprints. Oh,
you don't want to be touching your screen of your phone with dirty fingers. Ugh. All right, so Liz is the worker, of course, and she's trying to figure out what happened to Phil's phone. So she starts with the basic stuff, and yeah, often people just don't really know how these things work or aren't careful. So she asks him a very obvious or easy question. Are you sure you charged it? Maybe it just has no power. You know, sometimes you plug things in, but you forget to turn the power on or forget to plug the other end in to the wall, so it's not actually getting electricity. Even though you think it is, it's not actually being charged. And when we use this word charge, here we're talking about filling something up with electricity, one of those rechargeable batteries that we often have, that of course we have in our phones, or maybe a flashlight or something like that. You charge it or recharge it. Basically, you've used up the power, the battery inside is still good, but you need to put more electricity into it so that the machine works. So then you plug it in to charge it. And yeah, many people will leave their phone overnight while they're sleeping to charge, to get more electricity inside so that they work again. For example, Phil forgot to charge his headphones last night, so he couldn't listen to music on his way to school. Yeah, those AirPod type wireless headphones these days, you have to have electricity in them so that they work. So you can charge them in the case or charge the case up so that you will have power all day long.
But Phil says, yes, I've checked that already.
Okay. He says, I know the charger works because my wife, there you go, can charge her phone with it. Good question. So he knows the charger works. Yeah, this is that little white plug that you often get with the phone. You plug that into the wall, and then you plug that fire wire or whatever they're called into that, and then the other smaller end goes into your phone. There's a different shaped plug for iPhones and Samsung phones, but they work in the same way. You attach that one to your phone, the other one to the thing that goes in the wall and gets the electricity, and you should be able to charge up your phone or your headphones or your tablet or whatever else.
So Liz accepts this and says, okay, so it's not the charger. There's not a broken wire or a bad connection or something like that. And then asks, may I have a look at your phone?
Let me see, basically. So Liz takes his phone, and she can't get it to turn on. Liz inspects Phil's phone, but can't get it to turn on. So she has inspected the phone. When you inspect something, you look at it closely for problems, for damage, for things that might be a little unusual, a little strange. You're looking for answers, when you have questions or problems with something. If you're buying fruit at the market, you might inspect it for brown spots or bumps or cuts or something like that. If you are a police officer, you might inspect things very carefully, trying to find fingerprints or hairs from a criminal. For example, the security officer inspected Lori's suitcase before she got on the airplane. They might have opened it up, looked inside for anything illegal or dangerous or something like that. They definitely gave it more than just a quick look.
So after seeing all the phone stuff, Liz says, it looks like the phone will need to be repaired. And this is kind of polite language because she's saying it looks like instead of just saying, yeah, it needs, someone will fix it. It looks like. That's kind of slightly polite language, just a different way to phrase it. And she also uses the future passive. If you guys haven't come across this, will indicates sometime in the future. And the to be repaired is, of course, passive voice, meaning someone will do the work, but it's not important right now to say exactly who is going to do that work. The action is more important than the person doing it. So this is a use of future passive. So something to pay attention to there.
All right. So then she asks him another question that can help her, maybe decide what's wrong with the phone or find out what's wrong. She says, "When did you purchase it?" Okay, so she needs a bit more information, basically, about the phone, which will hopefully lead her to answers. Purchase is just a fancy way of saying buy. She could say, "When did you buy the phone?" or "When did you buy it? When did you purchase it?"
And Phil says, I have my receipt here. Just a second. So being sensible, when he goes to the phone store, he's got something to show that date. Because a receipt is proof that you have purchased or bought something. The shop will give you it, or it'll be sent to you if you buy it online, or maybe as an email, or maybe it'll be in the package. But it'll say the date this thing was bought, the time often this thing was bought, how much money was paid, sometimes how much change was given. It's all there, it's all documented, and it's basically just shows, yes, this was the time, date, and price that was paid for this particular item. And you often need this if you want to bring something back or get something fixed. For example, we could say, the store refused to let me return the items I bought there because I lost my receipt. So we couldn't prove I'd got it from this store, or I'd got it within 30 days and therefore I was allowed to return it. I had no proof because I lost my receipt.
Oh, that's a bit of a problem. But luckily, Phil has the receipt, and he pulls it out of his pocket, or maybe put it in his wallet or somewhere, but he does have it, so that's good. And next we read, Phil checks his receipt for the purchase date. So yeah, you might have to look a little carefully on it, maybe inspect your receipt to find that date, because often it is full of numbers and maybe some codes that you don't understand from the store computer. But he does find the date, and
he says, it seems I bought it on January 14th, 2021. And there's another example of polite language there. He did buy it on January 14th. It's very clear. So Phil could say, I bought it on January 14th, but by adding it seems or it seems that, he's just kind of phrasing this in a polite way because he does want help. He doesn't want to argue with anybody about it. So they're just using polite language here.
All right, well, Liz then says, after knowing when he bought the phone not that long ago, just earlier in the year, she says, because it's still under our 1-year warranty, we'll be able to repair it for you. Okay, well, this is good news. The phone company or the store where he bought it, either way, they have a 1-year warranty. Now, a warranty, kind of sometimes called a guarantee as well, is basically a document or some kind of promise that the company makes that they will make sure that the product is still working after a certain amount of time. Companies, especially ones that make sort of complicated machines like phones, computers, washing machines, cars, things like that. Things with parts that can break, that can stop working for some reason. They might kind of say if it breaks or if you have any problems with it in a certain amount of time, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, bring it back and we will fix it for you. If you use it in a normal way and because of a problem in how it was made, then they can help you fix it, often for free.
Yep, something to remember when we get into day 2. Warranties often have these little details, do's and don'ts and things like that in there.
It's useful to read the warranty, at least have them tell you what's in it, because, you don't want to think that they will fix it and then find out that they won't.
But apparently they can fix this phone.
Good.
So Phil then asks, can it be fixed right now? He's hoping to get his phone repaired maybe in an hour or so he can keep it. Will this happen?
Oh, I'm afraid not, says Liz. So Phil's hoping they have a repair person, maybe, in a back room right there in the store, just sitting there with screwdrivers, waiting to open the phone up and fix it for him. But no, that's not the case. I'm afraid not. This is something you might say when you're kind of delivering bad news, but you don't want the person to be too disappointed or upset. I'm really sorry, but no. We'll arrange to send your phone to our service center. They have to send it to another place. That's where all the engineers and technicians work. That's where they will fix the phone. They don't do it right there in the store. They will arrange this for him. When you arrange something, you organize something. You set it up, you plan it out, you take care of all the details and all the different things that need to happen so that it works. When you're planning a holiday, you have to arrange your flights and your hotel. When you're planning a party, you have to arrange for the food and the decorations and the entertainment and all that kind of stuff. For example, hotel front desk. Hello, could you please arrange a taxi to take me to the airport tomorrow at 5:30 a.m.? Thank you. So this is a guest calling down to the front desk of the hotel, asking them to organize, to plan, to prepare a taxi for the morning so that the guest doesn't have to do all that.
So you can say arrange followed by a noun, arrange a taxi like in the sentence, arrange a meeting, arrange a party, or you can add the preposition to with a verb like in the article. We'll arrange to send your phone somewhere. We'll arrange to interview you on a certain date. We'll arrange to have your car repaired by our mechanics, anything like that. Liz then gives him how long it will take, saying it'll likely take around 3 to 5 days. And of course, she'll mean working days there. They're not going to work on Saturday and Sunday to repair it. But she's saying it'll likely take 3 to 5 days. Likely means most probably. So this is the normal kind of thing, 3 to 5 days. Hey, if it's an easy fix, you might get it back earlier. But if it's something more complicated, it might take longer. But probably, looking at our usual possibilities and what's normally happening, it'll likely take 3 to 5 days. That's what we use likely for to indicate the most probable outcome. For example, we could say, it's been a long week, so I will likely just stay home for most of the weekend. My plans could change if I get a really interesting, exciting offer, but looking at normal probabilities, I'm not going out.
And Phil listens to this news. Okay, you got to take the phone, send it to a place, 3 to 5 days. Then I will hopefully get back my working phone. And he seems pretty happy with that. He says, okay, that's fine. A little inconvenient. He won't have a phone for a few days. He'll have to answer all his emails on the computer, but, that's not too bad. And hey, it's not going to cost him any money. So this morning he woke up with a broken phone, and hopefully in 3 to 5 days he will have a fixed phone, and it will just take some time, but not some money. So, yeah, that's okay. That's fine.
And that's where we're going to leave Phil today. He presumably hands over the phone. They maybe sign a few documents. He gets a receipt to show he can come back and get that phone in a few days. He's left his personal contact details and leaves the store. We'll find out what happens on day 2, but right now we'll go to our For You Chat question.
For You Chat.
So our question is, or we start with a statement, talk about a product that stopped working that was important to you. What did you do?
Good question.
Talking about saga here.
Yeah, talking about computers, how I don't like to fix mine. I turned my computer on a while ago and wow, nothing happened. It was just that blue screen of death.
Oh.
Yeah, so I looked up the problem. I had a little error code and I looked it up and it was like, oh, you need to make a recovery disk and a boot disk and do this and 12 steps and do all this stuff.
Nightmare.
So I called my friend who's kind of a computer genius, and he said, press F1. Pressed F1. Hit return. Now go down, click, click, 2 lines down, hit return again, and it worked perfectly.
Oh, I wish I had that kind of easy solution. I bought a nice new computer before I came out to Taiwan all those years ago.
Yeah.
And it did okay for the first about sort of 8 months or so.
Okay.
And then it just crashed.
Uh-oh.
And it kept crashing, and I would take it to the HP. It was an HP recovery store near Shandao Temple.
Okay.
And they would fix it. They'd put in a new motherboard, and within a day it would break again.
What?
And again. And this happened about a dozen times. Every time they'd say, we'll replace the motherboard, we'll try and figure it out. Broke. After a day or so.
What?
I don't know whether it was just it just was getting too hot because of the climate here and this computer being badly designed with its fans, so the motherboard or whatever kept overheating. I never worked it out because in the end, after sort of months of having this problem and never getting it fixed, I just gave up and bought a new computer.
Really?
I switched to an Apple because I'd heard from my brother they were a lot more reliable.
Okay.
So I've stuck with Apple ever since. But yeah, I had
That is strange.
nightmare. I was constantly in little internet cafes because that was the only computer I could get to use at that point. I didn't have a smartphone. This was 2008-09. I didn't have one at that point. Oh, I had a nightmare with that HP.
Interesting. And did you have to pay for each new motherboard, or was that covered by the warranty?
I had to pay for the first one because I think that even though the computer had been bought a few months ago, maybe the model was a bit older and it was in the UK. I'd bought it and here I'm fixing it. So I think I had to fork out a few thousand NT for the first one.
Right.
Every subsequent one, no, because it barely lasted a day before crashing again.
Well, I'm glad you didn't pay for all of them. That would have been crazy.
Yeah. Terrible, terrible time that was.
Interesting.
But since then, I've had no problems with the Macs I've had, so can't
good.
complain about switching.
That's right.
But that is all the time we've got for today. Join us again tomorrow to find out what happens with Phil and his phone and whether he gets it back. See you then. Bye for now.
Take care.
Vocabulary Review.
Screen. I like going to movie theaters because it's fun to see movies on the big screen. Charge. Sam always charges his cell phone before he goes to bed at night. Inspect. I brought my car into the repair shop so the workers there could inspect it for problems. Receipt. When Lindsay took a taxi from one office to another, she asked for a receipt to give her boss. Arrange. Mark arranged to have dinner with his high school teacher. He hasn't seen him for 10 years. Likely. It'll likely rain today, so Julia has brought her umbrella with her.
智慧小補帖
Purchase. Warranty.
以上节目是由活用空中美語製作，活用空中美語雜誌，請洽詢全國各大書店。如欲索取試聽教材，請來電02-2364-4000 02-2364-4000，或上網查詢，網址是 www.english4u.net www.english4u.net